watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. On to our top story, which is on the controversy of the Mullaperiyar Dam. Now, the Tamil Nadu government has raised shutters of the Mullaperiyar Dam, located in the upper reaches of the Periyar River in Kerala, to release the excess water filled to the brim. Now, this is according to the News Minute, which has said that Kerala shifted 339 families located downstream of the dam, as the water will make its way to the Idukki dam. Now, Kerala's Idukki was also put on high alert. Here's the dispute. Kerala has been arguing for the dam to be dismantled and a new one to be constructed, but Tamil Nadu is opposed to this, as it says that the water from the dam is used by farmers in several parts of the state. And so for several decades this has been going on now. In 1998, finally, the Tamil Nadu government wanted to raise the height of the water level, but Kerala opposed it. Later, the Supreme Court asked Kerala and Tamil Nadu governments to abide by the decision taken by the Supervisory Committee regarding the appropriate water level in the Mullaperiyar Dam. Now, according to the News Minute, the Kerala government submitted a note to the Supreme Court, and this is as of October 28, which is yesterday, saying that the dam must be decommissioned and new dam be built. Now, in its submission, it cited the age of the dam, its limited storage capacity, and large catchment area. Meanwhile, some tragic news coming in from Karnataka. Kannada actor Puneeth Rajkumar, who is 46, passed away at Vikram Hospital in Bengaluru after suffering a heart attack on Friday morning. Now, Puneeth Rajkumar's remains will be kept at Kantirava Stadium in Bengaluru, so his fans and followers can pay homage as well. Some of his famous films are Appu, Bettada Hoovu, Huduguru, Rana Vikrama, Rajkumara, among others. Now, he was fondly known as Power Star by fans, not only because of his humble attitude but also because of his approach towards his admirers. The superstar also was known to invite fans to his residence to meet them. The Chief Minister of Karnataka has requested, in the meantime, the people of Karnataka to maintain peace. Pubs and bars in Bengaluru were shut, and shops and business establishments at Gandhinagara area, which is the center of Kannada film industry, were closed to pay tributes to the superstar. Now, the Karnataka government has alerted Bengaluru district commissioners, DCPs and SPs to tighten the security in their jurisdiction, and also to the district administration across the state. Moving on now, a government hospital employee, Safia Majid, was sacked from her service in Jammu for allegedly uploading a WhatsApp status celebrating Pakistan's win over India in the T20 World Cup match on Sunday. Now, according to the Times of India, her action was termed as, and I'm quoting, disloyalty towards the nation by Dr. Brij Mohan, who was a principal government medical college in Rajouri. Now, earlier, another private teacher from Kashmir was fired and then arrested for posting a celebratory WhatsApp status after India lost to Pakistan. She was later released on bail. Not just that, in Agra, 3 Kashmiri students were also rusticated from college for similar reasons. Also in the news, Hyderabad police are reportedly stopping people randomly on the road and checking their WhatsApp for words like ganja and drugs. Now, this is a report by the News Minute, which says that the Deputy Commissioner of Police, South Zone, Gajrao Bhupal, has said, and I quote, "Yes, I am aware that phones are being checked. However, we're not forcing anybody, nor are we snatching away their phones to check. People are cooperating and nobody is complaining, so I don't think there is anything illegal. The public can deny giving away their phone," he said. End quote. Activists and critics, in the meantime, have slammed the move and said that it violates the right to privacy. An update now in the NCB case. Aryan Khan will spend one more night at the Arthur Road jail in Mumbai on Friday, as his release papers did not reach the jail authorities on time. Actress Juhi Chawla appeared before the special NDPS court as a shorty to complete bail formalities to Aryan Khan. Now, the Bombay High Court released a 5-page operative order with bail conditions for Aryan Khan and 2 others who were arrested in this particular case. And the 2 others are Arbaz Merchant and Munmun Damecha. And the 3 of them were released on a personal bond of 1 lakh rupees. Other bail conditions are as follows. They say that they shall not indulge in any activity similar to the activities on the basis of which the said complaint stands registered against them for offences under the NDPS Act. Additionally, applicants should not try to establish communication with co-accused or any other person involved directly or indirectly in similar activities, or make any call to any person indulging in similar activities as alleged against them through any mode of communication. The conditions also say that they must surrender their passport before the special court. Now, an update on COVID right now. India has reported 14,348 new COVID cases and 805 deaths in the last 24 hours. Kerala, in the meantime, has reported 7,722 cases, new COVID cases in the last 24 hours as well. Meanwhile, several states are relaxing some conditions that were put forth earlier. Gujarat government on Thursday eased the COVID night curfew in 8 cities by 2 hours starting the 30th of October, as opposed to the midnight to 6 a.m. The curbs will remain imposed from 1 to 5 a.m. Now, the cities are Ahmedabad, Rajkot, Surat, Vadodara, Jamnagar, Bhavnagar, Gandhinagar and Junagadh. Now, theatres can also operate with 100% capacity and restaurants with 75% capacity. Now, a similar move coming in from Delhi as well. The Delhi Disaster Management Authority on Friday allowed full seating capacity in cinema halls, theatres and multiplexes. Now, it also raised the number of people attending wedding functions and last rites from 100 to 200. Additionally, this move will come into effect from the 1st of November. Let's now take a look at what's making news from the world of business. Petrol and diesel prices have been hiked yet again for the third straight day on Friday, touching fresh all-time highs across India. Now, a 35 paise hike took petrol price in Delhi to 108.64 rupees per litre and diesel price to 97.37 rupees per litre. In Mumbai, in the meantime, petrol costs a hefty 114.47 rupees per litre and diesel price costs 105.49 rupees per litre. Also, news coming in from across the world right now. Facebook on Thursday announced that it's changing its company's name to Meta. Now, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg said, and I quote, "Today we are seen as a social media company, but in our DNA we are a company that builds technology to connect people, and the metaverse is the next frontier, just like social networking was when we got started," end quote. Now, using augmented reality and virtual reality, Facebook plans to create a greater sense of virtual presence. That's what they're calling, to mimic the experience of interacting in person. And for those of you who are asking, the names of the apps, Facebook, Instagram, Messenger and WhatsApp, will remain the same. Meanwhile, the White House has announced that the US will provide nearly $144 million in new assistance to those affected by the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan. Now, this is additional to what they had provided earlier. National Security Council spokesperson Emily Horn said that the additional funds will bring the total US aid in the country and for Afghan refugees in that region to nearly $474 million this year, which is the highest aid provided by any nation. And we leave you with one piece of good news before we wrap up this bulletin, and this is news coming in from Bengaluru. A special campus will be developed near Bengaluru's Bettakote Gram Panchayat limits to provide shelter and education to 300 girl children who've lost one or both parents to COVID. Now, it's a corporate social responsibility initiative. The initiative is a joint effort by Fairfax Financial Holdings and Kempegowda International Airport Foundation and Sparsha Trust, and that it's expected to be ready by 2022. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching.